9 o'clock. What's yours? Oh, not too far, not too far. Yeah, I get up at 5, so I try to go to bed by 9, but that has not happened much this year. It looks like our first class is also having the same issue because there's nobody here. Sometimes it's that way. That is so weird. When I plug that in, it keeps people from being able to come in. It's so weird. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Let's see if we can get our party on its way. This mask is fogging up my glasses today. I can't see. All right, well, not very many people here, but we're gonna move on anyway, because the bell rang quite some time ago. So let's roll on. Okay, you're gonna either go to, I'm not showing you anything, am I? Let's try to show something. Oh, button, wrong button, there we go. So yesterday we talked about Punnett squares. Are there any questions about making a Punnett square? Okay, remember, you've got a lot of vocab. If you didn't have this last year, these vocabulary words are going to catch up with you. You're going to have to start recognizing what they mean because you will be expected to answer questions as such. I don't want that. So either go to the dashboard or to the calendar, and you're trying to get to current lessons. I'm just going to go here to the agenda because I think it's faster. Here is a list of the assignments that are coming due. Our list keeps getting longer, but the reality is I'm only giving you a couple of questions and I've helped you with most of it. Today, we're going to talk about genotype, phenotype, and probability. Now, we talked about probability already, talking about it's the possible outcomes. So on your Punnett square, you have 4 different alleles that are going to be present to tell you what your trait is. The alleles are just a representation of what the genetic code is you're talking about. So if I'm talking about curly hair, those letters represent curly and non-curly hair. So you have to know what you're talking about, just like on your paper yesterday, it told you what the characteristic was, whether it was round or wrinkled, purple or white. They tell you when they're asking you to solve that problem or to know your probability. Phenotype is what I see with my eyes. I can't see the recessive trait because it's hidden. So if I have a dominant recessive trait, the dominant always covers up that recessive. So when you look at me, all you see is that dominant trait. But if I were to have children, I can pass on that recessive trait that eventually could be shown. And the only way for recessive traits to show up is they are together. Dominant traits, when present, are always what you see. So you need to know the difference between phenotype and genotype. Think of genes, your genetics. Whenever you say genotype, I'm talking about those letters, those alleles, the letters that are given as representation. Phenotype is what I see with my eyes. I'm seeing you that way, right? So you could have a hidden allele for being 7 foot tall, but I can't see that because you're not 7 foot tall. It would be a recessive trait that you could pass on to your children, but it's something when I'm looking at you, which is your phenotype, I can't see that allele. If I'm looking at your genes, then I could see that allele. So we're going to practice that because here is a page that's going to ask you which is which. So let's click on that. I shared the page with you. So you should have your own copy. That is not the copy I wanted, but this will work. Okay, so you're going to do your Punnett square. I think the other one I was thinking of was tomorrow. You're gonna go ahead and do your Punnett square like we practiced yesterday. And over here on the right, it's gonna have you give that information. So we're gonna do the first two together. So all you'll have is one to do by yourself. That, of course, is if you follow along with this and write down your stuff. If I do it with you, that's not saying, hey, I can sit here and do nothing. Yours turned in has to have this stuff done. I have people turning in assignments with the parts that I didn't go through with you, and that's going to be not scored properly because that's not how that works. I mean, when teachers do it with you, it's so that you can do it too. So let's not skip our part of doing our assignment. Okay, so here's an example of what I'm talking about. On this paper, it's going to give you both. I even said I wasn't going to use my pen today, and okay, so here, when it says black fur is referring to which? Phenotype or genotype? Which one? Phenotype. Black fur is what I can see with my eyes, right? I can see it with my eyes. I can't see these letters. The letters are alleles. Those would be the genotype, right? Okay, so the possibility of this person here is to have black fur. Remember, we said heterozygous is going to be dominant for black fur. Homozygous recessive is going to be the brown fur. And then here are the alleles. So they're giving you the phenotype and genotype in the same option. See here, it says genotype. That's what it's talking about right here. These are the genotypes. Let me get my pen. Oh, I see why you said genotype. I see that now, but they're just spelling it out for you. So this right here, these are the genotype. This is the phenotype. Genes are going to be like letters or alleles. You have two alleles from each parent because they may pass on one or the other. It's possibilities. Remember? Okay. So sorry, guys, you're going to stare at the ceiling. So let's go ahead and fill out our Punnett square. We know that BB is going to go here. So once you have your Punnett square filled out, does everybody have theirs filled out? We're looking at the possibilities of these here. What are their possibilities? What could I pass on to my children? So we're going to look here. It says homozygous black fur. That's just telling us what this stands for. So this is the phenotype, is the black fur. Homozygous is telling us that they're the same allele for black fur, which is dominant. So we have 25% being big B. You're just listing what's in this box, right? I have 50% being big B, little b, and I have 25% being little b, right? So I can fill in this spot over here. Let me erase all my nonsense. So now you should be able to list them right there, right? So I'm going to put them where they belong. You didn't have to write it across the bottom. I was just trying to show you that's what's in this box. You're looking at it and saying, what is there? What is in that box? So I said big B. I have 25%, which means there's only one of them right here. Then I said big B, little b. There's one right here and one right here. So that makes 50%. Because this makes up $1, right? Four quarters is $1. Then the last one is the remaining 25%. Right? Everybody following me? Anybody have a question? Okay, so now you're asking how many of those 4 are going to have black fur? What do you think? Anybody have a guess? What percent is going to have black fur out of these 4 squares? What are you looking for? 75%. Nice job. 75%. That leaves what? 25%. Ta-da!
What's that under the first 25? Is that JO?
What is what?
Under the first 25?
This one up here,
Yes.
it's 50,
Oh,
25, 50, 25, which would give you 100, right? Because you're looking for a total of 100%. So you can't read my 50, is that what it is? I can't read that 5 either. Here, I'll move it up. I'm not very good at this. You guys are really good with that pen on there. I don't know if mine's just not as good. Okay, we have a question or something. Nice, good job. Okay, so any questions on how to do that and what we're doing? Oops. I was trying to erase, not. Okay, so let's do the next one. And then I think I'm leaving you just one. Is there one more at the bottom? Is there only 3 total? Yeah. So we're gonna do this one together and all you're left with is the one on the bottom. Okay, so our genotype, again, are these letters. It's the same thing as the one above. We're just crossing, they're not giving us our parents on our own. We have to read in what it says. Now do the same where one parent is homozygous for Black. So what do their letters look like? They're not telling us whether it's dad or mom. Homozygous for Black. If you're not sure, you can look over here. What do my letters look like? Capital B, capital B. Then it says the other one's homozygous for Brown. How can I be Brown?
lowercase b.
Lowercase b. That's the only way I could be Brown. Now I'm going to cross those over. If you can see it already, you see that we are what? What is our genotype? Anybody? We're going to look at these 4 squares. What do these 4 squares tell us? What do all of them look like? If you have a
Heterozygous.
heterozygous, nice, good job. Heterozygous, so they're all heterozygous fur, black fur. So I'm going to put 100% right here, right? Now I have to say, what do they look like with my eyes? What is their phenotype? What do they look like with my eyes? What do they look like with my eyes? If I look at them, what do they look like? Well, wait. Yes, they're all black, 100% black. Because the dominant trait overshadows that recessive trait. So they all look black with my eyes, but they do carry that recessive trait, right? Good job. You guys are experts. Dig it. Make sense? So you just have the last one to do by yourself. And yes, I do expect you to turn it in. And yes, I will grade it. And yes, it should all be done, even though I went through it with you. This is kind of a lesson on following directions. But you should now understand how to do a Punnett square or a dihybrid cross, or Punnett square or Mendelian cross. You should know how to read one telling you what your phenotype is, what your genotype is. We will practice more, but this process does get a little more complicated and we'll learn that soon. But what you're going to do today is an activity on, let me get back to our lesson. This is called a penny toss activity. And what you do is you toss a penny. You might be able to find something online if you don't want to use a penny, but where it gives you either heads or tails, heads or tails, heads or tails. So you flip it and you record which, here, let's look at the lab now that it's sitting there. So you're going to read through this, but what you're doing is you're following the directions. You need to read it and follow the directions. It's telling you that for the penny, the heads are dominant, the tails are recessive. You're going to flip the coin. It tells you right here to write down your tally, right? You just need to follow these directions. You're going to do the activity here by reading, finish this up, answer these 2 questions, and that's all I'm asking from you for today. Got it? Any questions? Okay, so this activity is, let's go backwards because, oh my goodness, I can't get there. Okay. This activity, let's go back to calendar because I don't see the date on there. But let's look at the date. Even though this is something you should be able to get done right here, right now, all the stuff I've given you today, I've given you extra time to get it done, but don't procrastinate. It's due the 5th, which I think is Friday, right? So don't procrastinate, get your stuff done. You guys have a lot of little assignments I've given you and it's super easy to do. So let's not fall off the train just yet because you have midterms that are coming up. Your last assignment for me will be Friday. That will go on your midterms and anything we've done in between. You don't have a test to save you this time. So those who are not doing their assignments, you're going to be in a world of hurt on Friday and your grade will tank. So please do your assignments. Any questions online, folks? All right, you're free to go if you don't need my assistance. Do you guys want a penny or are you going to find another avenue? Ready? Let's see if I can do it. Hopefully I don't hurt you. Ooh. Holy cow. That was a little much. Would you like a penny or would you like to find another avenue? I was thinking there's got to be like a, they always have apps for that, like random numbers. So you could say odds and evens, right? Make, let's see, random number generator. There we go. So then you just set your values and say odds and evens. There you go. That would be a 50-50, right? I think that's a fair assessment. What's the idea though? What do you think the idea is?